Hey guys, this is Aegis, and this is game number 3 between LiquidRet and WhiteRa. This is from the ASUS Republic of Gamers StarCraft 2 tournament. And over here in the left or right position, what am I doing with this left and right thing? I've been messing this up for the past, like, I don't know, 10 games. But in the right position, on Terminus SE, it's going to be LiquidRet, the red Zerg player. His opponent is in the north position on Terminus. His name is WhiteRa, the Ukrainian Protoss player. He's going to be spawning over here as the blue player, and over here, of course, this is the old version, apparently. This destructible debris is been placed at the ramp, which no longer exists in the current version, and is instead at the third base on the low ground. WhiteRa is going to be going for a Forge Fast expand. I'm not surprised, actually, seeing that he's been doing the same thing, essentially, for the past few games. WhiteRa is chrono boosting out his first few probes, will be throwing down a Forge on the low ground. I wouldn't be surprised to see LiquidRet do the exact same thing, go for a 14 pool, which we will see in just a few seconds. He does have enough money for it. There it is, the 14 pool coming up for LiquidRet. Throwing down in kind of a funny position. Usually it's closer to the hatch or behind the mineral patches. I guess this does allow it to be harder to pick off by drops. I think this position would be harder to pick off by drops, but LiquidRet is putting his pool down. He's going to be going for the hatch real soon. He's getting that in order to get out a couple of Zerglings, just in case WhiteRa opts to throw down a pylon and be kind of annoying. At the natural expansion, WhiteRa going to be going for the Nexus in just a second. He's paused probe production, waiting for that 400 minerals to come up, and there's the Nexus for WhiteRa. Going to be picking up a couple of minerals over here as well. The hatch is coming up for LiquidRet, so we'll probably see him go for a third base as well. The probe continuing to scout in here to see exactly what Ret is doing, but no gas coming up, so this does indicate he's definitely going to be going for a lot of those drones, and there's the gas finally. I'm going to be getting up the metabolic boost. The first few Zerglings are going to be coming across the map to test. The front cannon is coming up for WhiteRa, so he's going to be able to close this off pretty easily. The Overlord going to be scooting in to see if WhiteRa has indeed taken the natural expansion, and LiquidRet now throwing up another gas in the main, so it looks like he may be going for some sort of quick lair tech. There's also the hatchery at the natural expansion finishing up. The Zergling is trying to get in here, but the cannon does clean him up. The Overlord going to be scooting over here to see that the Nexus is about to finish. The 2 gas being taken in the main by WhiteRa. And LiquidRet now making additional drones and Queen's Overlords on the way as well. Everything looks pretty normal here. It's just up to WhiteRa to see what he can do in this game. Last game, we really did see Ret do very well for himself, being able to change up his tech going into Mutalisks. Going to be really messing with WhiteRa, especially even after he was able to get up so many Phoenix. It really wasn't enough to hold off both the Zerglings and Mutas coming in through the front. So this game really is up to WhiteRa to see if he can change anything about his play to be able to win a game against LiquidRet. Ret going to be getting his lair tech right now. Interesting to see that he hasn't grabbed the gas over here and has not grabbed the third hatch, which in the past 2 games we've essentially saw that third hatch by now. And seeing that it's Terminus, usually that hatch comes up really fast just because this map is so big and there are so many expansions to be take. WhiteRa getting his Stargate right now, so he's going to be able to put on some pressure. It is in a relatively scoutable position, so we'll see what WhiteRa decides to do with this. Maybe go for some sort of 7 or 6 gateway push along with a couple of Void Rays, which is very strong against the Zerg player who has been too greedy. Second cannon coming up at the front just in case. And it looks like Ret finishing up the Zergling speed as well as getting the pneumatized carapace. Or, oh no, that's Ventral Sax. He may be going for a really big drop. Does he have pneumatized carapace already? Yes, he does. So he's going to have speed overlords with drop. Actually, no, he's getting at the natural expansion, so he's going to have both of those at approximately the same time. So he's going to have speed overlords with drop, and he's going to be going for a pretty big drop inside of WhiteRa's main to see if he can do any damage, but Phoenixes are on the way, and that could pose a threat to those overlords. A second Phoenix does get supply blocked, but the first one will see that there's no natural expansion and be able to come over here and see exactly what LiquidRet is doing. It's going to fly right by those overlords, going to be taking a couple of shots over there. And Ret quickly selecting them to see if the Phoenix is actually a real one. The Phoenix is going to be returning home, seeing that it can't actually do anything unless there's a second Phoenix. Couple of overlords now gathering at the third base for LiquidRet. He's going to count on those overlords being too many in number for WhiteRa to shoot all of them down. He's also gearing up to push in the front, possibly. The Phoenixes are going to be able to spot this, and the overlord's speed movement is revealed with the overlord moving away really quickly. The ventral sacks are about to finish. One overlord may fall. The queen coming over here now trying to pick off those Phoenixes. And the Zerglings now getting ready to be loaded into those overlords. And there's the load up, and looks like it's going to be a gigantic drop inside of WhiteRa's main. But there are cannons at the ready already. WhiteRa notices the overlords and quickly reacts, throwing up those cannons, being able to hold this off. The Zerglings running in here going to be able to do zero amounts of damage. And WhiteRa is looking in a very good position, especially being able to take down so many of these overlords, as well as so many of those Zerglings gone to waste. The ability of LiquidRet to actually do his pressure here has been prevented. There are units at the natural expansion as well, but once WhiteRa warps in a couple additional units, it's going to be lights out for this drop. The Zerglings are also kind of stuck in the backside. Additional Zealots being warped in right now. The units being pulled from the main will allow him to clean up this push pretty easily. The Zerglings are going after the Stalkers, which are more vulnerable, but the Zealots quickly tearing those Zerglings to shreds. The two Stalkers even survive. One with pretty low health, but those probes are easily able to go back to work. And Ret is getting up those Hydralisks right now to try to defend. Where are those Phoenixes? There they are. They will be able to come over here and do some picking off of those overlords. And with Phoenixes, the small numbers of Hydralisks are actually really bad. And Void Rays are going to be popping out. WhiteRa needs to notice this one over here. The Phoenixes are just flying around, seeing if they can pick off some additional overlords. One Zergling in the backside will get picked off as well. WhiteRa has an idle probe at the natural expansion. And the Phoenixes and the Void Rays should be able to do some damage shortly. The Zerglings running into the main, trying to do some additional damage, but they do run into the Void Rays as well as the cannons. And with one run around, all of these Zerglings are basically dead. Another drop is occurring with those Hydras right now. So we'll see if this is able to do any damage. If he had actually kept those Zerglings inside the main alive, this may actually be able to do a lot of damage. The Hydra's now coming in here, going to try to take down the cannons. The Stalkers being warped in and coming forward to try to pick things off. Looks like another lift and drop in of Hydras as well, but the two Phoenixes just have way too many lifts. They're going to be able to pick up additional Hydras right now. The Void Rays going to be picking off additional Hydras on the ground. Another Overlord coming in here with additional Zerglings. But all of the Hydras have fallen, and then more Hydras being lifted in here. I don't know what Ret is doing. He's just trying to ferry in more and more units into this meat grinder. All of the Zerglings and Hydras have been cleaned up. GG out of LiquidRet, and this game goes to WhiteRa, doing a great job of taking down LiquidRet. Now going to be advancing to Game 4. He is still down by a game and could lose this match if he loses the next game as well. But of course, if he wants to win this, he also needs to do a reverse all kill. We'll see if WhiteRa is able to pull that off, or if LiquidRet with his extremely powerful macro style is going to be able to win it against WhiteRa. And of course, if you do enjoy what you see here, please do subscribe, like, and favorite. It really does help. And I'll see you guys in Game 4.